We say, my bloody computer's slow today. Exactly. And that's what happens to us. The information is passing around too slowly, therefore the body is not in its optimum state. So the body's a computer, and we are occupying the computer, but we are not the flipping computer. That's the point. We use computer language. When you get a computer virus, I've had one, and it starts off that everything kind of slows down because it starts to imbalance the flow of information. And it gets worse, and it gets worse, and exactly what happened to mine about a year ago. Eventually, it won't even switch on. And what do we say? Hey, my computer's died. Exactly. And this is what happens when we have what we call death. We don't die, sodding computer does. And then when the computer goes off and switches off so it just operates on tick over mode, we say the computer's in a sleep state. Yes, same with us. When our consciousness goes off to other realms and we have things called dreams and stuff. And we have something called Norton antivirus. And its job is to destroy viruses and isolate them when they enter the computer to keep the computer healthy. We have a Norton antivirus in our computers. We call it the immune system that does pretty much exactly the bloody same. Now, Norton antivirus will keep your computer healthy until a virus comes that it can't cope with, or it's overwhelmed, or it's not working properly. Our immune system will keep us healthy until something comes along it can't cope with, very rare, or more often it has been undermined by all the shit we drink and eat, and all the pressure and electromagnetic pollution, and also because it's overwhelmed by the number of things that are being fired at it. And then we become ill, and eventually the virus gets so bad we die, or the computer does. This is a guy called William Sheridan. He is one of these people who have had organ transplants and mysteriously, though it's not, taken on the personality or some personality traits and some aptitude traits of the donor. He was in a hospital in New York waiting for a heart transplant. And to kill the time while he's waiting to go into the operating theatre in the days before, however long it was, he took an art therapy course in the hospital, in his bed. And at the top is the kind of pictures he drew in his art therapy course before the operation. Pretty much as bad as I would draw. I'm a terrible drawer. Anyway, when he had the heart transplant, he comes back into bed to recuperate, and the art therapy course continues. And what he found, to his art therapist's amazement, was he was suddenly drawing much better pictures, intricate pictures, something he was absolutely incapable of before. What happens in heart transplants and organ transplants is the donor's family very rarely meet the recipient. But on this occasion, he was doing some promotional work as a result of his operation to encourage more and more people to donate organs. As a result of this work, he met the mother of the donor, young man who died and donated the heart. And he said to her the obvious question, was your son interested in art? Oh, yes, he says. She says, he's crazy. He was crazy about art. He said from the age of 18 months, he wanted art materials more than he wanted toys. He was, really into art in a big way. And what has happened here, and the doctors and stuff are going, yeah, and we know it happens, but how it happens we can't understand. Well, we are, at the body level, a computer. We are downloading information at a cellular level all the time. We are inheriting that, just as we inherit a computer, we are inheriting the stuff on the hard drive, but we're also adding it with every experience that we have. And within the cellular level of hard drive, if you like, it carries our personality, it carries our character traits, it carries our aptitudes, what we're good at and stuff like that. And so when you have a heart transplant or a lung transplant, what you're actually doing is putting software into another computer. And that information contained in that software is then released into the computer as a whole, and you can take on the traits that it includes, which is an aptitude for art in this man's case. He also says that he took on different character traits, which also related, he found out later, to the kind of personality that the donor was. And there are so many stories like this. There was the woman who was frightened of heights, had a lung transplant that turned out to be a mountain climber, and she starts climbing mountains. This is a woman that was frightened of heights before. And the reason I'm going on about this is this. If our personality can be changed by downloading software information from another computer, who the hell are we really? What is this thing we call personality? Is it infinite consciousness or possibility, or is it a computer program that we react in certain ways to certain things? Prepare to download if you see it at that level. And did you come across this story recently where there's this hen, right? And it's been laying bloody eggs, this hen. And then it turns into a cockerel. It starts getting that thing on the head that cockerels have, and it starts crowing in the morning. And what they found was that for some reason, the hen started producing vast amounts of testosterone, and as a result, it started to take on a male personality. So, if the difference between being female and being male is an particularly chemical makeup, then how can we say, I'm a woman? No, you're not. This is a woman. This is a man. We are infinite consciousness. And we identify with this when we are this. We are identifying with an electrochemical computer process and thinking that's who we are. René Descartes came out with this French philosopher and thinker and all this other stuff, and he came out with this famous line, I think, therefore I am. Well, I would take it one stage further. I'd say, I compute, therefore I am, on this level, not on that level, on this level. Because electrochemical changes, even externally implanted, can change our personality dramatically. So, what is our personality? There was that lady, you come across the story a couple of years ago. She had been in clinical depression for 40 years. After 40 years, she'd been institutionalized and all this stuff, and then someone said to her, can you remember if anything happened around the time you went into this deep depression? The only thing she could come up with was she had something like 19 mercury fillings. So she went and had the mercury fillings out, went on a mercury detox program, and after 40 years, her clinical, untreatable depression disappeared. Now, her personality for 40 years has been a manic depressive, but that wasn't her, it was a chemical process. So how can we identify with this as being us when it can be so changed by a simple chemical process? People like Paul McKenna, when he takes people, for people watching this DVD in other parts of the world, Paul McKenna is a guy who, at the start of a TV show, will have people who are frightened of spiders or frightened of heights or something, and at the end of the show, he'll bring them back, and they'll either not be frightened anymore or be a lot less frightened. What is he doing? He's going into the computer program that says, I am frightened of spiders, I am frightened of heights. He is wiping the computer program through various means which take out that character trait, which is nothing more than a piece of software, and suddenly the personality has changed.